Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd Age where we discuss everything nerdy. My name is Mick and with me as always are my co-hosts Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Hello.
And Jonah.
Hey guys.
All right guys, our main topic this week is going to be Book of Boba Fett. The first episode came out last Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday at midnight.
Heck yeah.
We've all had a chance to see it, so we are going to... Do you guys want to do non-spoilers and then spoilers? Or
I say just spoilers all the way.
We're just doing episode 1, so I mean it's gonna be spoilers.
So straight to spoilers?
Yeah, let's get it.
So spoilers for Book of Boba Fett, episode 1.
All right.
I figure they've had a whole week to
Yeah, and now
watch
Jonah's
it,
unleashed now. He's not shackled.
I don't have to be on eggshells
around.
tiptoeing around things because I say it anyways and then I have to edit it out.
Never mind. We're not going down that rabbit hole. All right. Yeah. I mean, I've been looking forward to a Star Wars content for a long time. So, I mean, how many months has it been since Visions? Visions came out in September.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple months. And so, yeah, I'm ready for some Star Wars action.
Well, and it's been like Visions, yes.
Well,
and then
that's
there
not
was the
even,
Bad
like-
Batch, but it's like the animated. It's not the same. Like since Mando ended, it's been.
It's no live action.
Man, look at you. Spoiled brat. You get 3 Star Wars things in a year and you're like,
Yeah.
it's not like it's live action.
No,
We're living in the golden age of Star Wars content and you're complaining about it. Get out of here.
That's not a complaint.
I was actually just going
Not
to
a
say
complaint.
how lucky we are to get a live action show. Like, that's awesome.
Right.
It's not a complaint. I'm just saying, yes, those things were great, but there's something special about live action, you know, that's just kind of different that hits harder. It's like when they announce that a movie's going to drop in theaters, it's going to feel different than the shows we've been watching because there's something special about going to theaters and watching a Star Wars movie, seeing the opening crawl. So I'm just saying there's levels. Like, I love it. I'm glad. I'm appreciative. I'm thankful, right? But there's just kind of
good.
levels to...
That's good because then you have months to look forward to it, and then we finally got the first episode this week,
Right.
And so, did it fulfill your wildest dreams, Jonah?
Well, I'll just say this before we start it. We did our predictions. We're all tied right now because we all said they're going to show him get out of the Sarlacc pit. Okay,
Yeah.
so
That's
right now
we're all good.
Nice.
we're all batting.
So they're
1,000.
meeting the bar, basically.
Yes.
That's probably the only one I'll get right.
Hey,
Hey,
you never
that was
know.
an R2 unit. He said they were going to be an R2
That's
unit.
true.
There were R2 units in that
So I'm in the
episode.
lead.
The white
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
They had both of them actually. The ones where they were took captive on the
Oh, that's right.
the droid they were using to like communicate or whatever, but he wasn't a protocol droid. He was on that. What's the big brown ships called? I can't remember what they're called.
The sail barge. The Katana.
Is
Is that what it's called? The Jabba sail barge? Is that what we're talking about? Or are we
No,
talking about
it's
the
Sandcrawler.
Sandcrawler?
Yeah, the
Sandcrawler,
Jawa
yeah.
Soundcrawler.
Yeah.
They're all brown ships
So
in the desert.
both those
Everything's
guys.
brown on Tatooine.
So we've already had like callbacks. There's so many callbacks in this episode. So the droids are there. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, obviously, just everything was. Honestly, it was interesting to see how they kind of set things up. I think that a lot of people could have issues with kind of how slow it was, but I liked it. It was very quick to explain. This is how he got out. Like,
Yeah, that
was it,
surprised me.
20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then boom, he's out.
I think that was my favorite part. I was like, everyone knows we're going to see it.
Right.
Just get it out of the gate and just say, hey, this is how he gets out. I saw people complaining. There's like, it wasn't long enough. I was like, what do you want him to be like walking through rooms in
was like-
the Sarlacc's stomach? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just, hey, quick to the point, get him out.
Yeah.
It's a Sarlacc labyrinth. That he had to
Yes,
escape.
I agree
And
with that.
riddles.
Yeah, he has to
it's like
swing
an
across
it's like
like
an
with
escape room.
tentacles and stuff like that. Yeah.
Some
I
riddles,
agree with
some math
I agree with
problems.
that to some extent because I do think, yeah, like what are you gonna do? Like,
I'd rather have
like,
a
what are you
quick
gonna
than
show?
long.
But it did feel really quick. Like, and so I don't think there's a better solution to it. Like, oh, did I want to see more scenes of him like chopping through intestines or something like that? No. But it did kind of shock me that it was that quick. And it's kind of interesting because that's something that Star Wars fans have speculated for years. How did he get out? How did he get out? And then to just kind of be like,
Well, I will say this. I will say
that
just real quick.
was crazy.
I'll say that it wasn't real time. So he was unconscious.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. And so he woke
He
up.
was in there for
So
3
how
months
long
easy.
he was in there, we don't know.
Right.
And then he's like, "Yo, give me a whiff of your oxygen."
Yeah, that was dope.
And then he starts burning through the walls, and it's
then
like
he gets out, busts out.
you know that couldn't have taken like 5 minutes. It took probably like
Right.
hours.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
then it's
saying.
like, and then this oxygen combined because it's all smoke. Like he needs that oxygen. So the oxygen just itself got him out of the Sarlacc pit, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like I totally understand
And
that.
you know
And
it
to
probably
me, it
took
doesn't
hours.
bother me.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things. My initial reaction to it was like, wow, that was fast. Like, and my first thought was, so many years of people speculating how he got out. How did he do it? To just be like, 15 seconds. Yep, he's out.
Yeah,
we're moving on.
Yeah,
fine,
I mean,
it's fine.
It was a lose-lose situation because you've
right.
got all these years of people building up the expectation.
Well,
Rip it off like a Band-Aid. We
the
don't know what
same.
happened.
It's the same thing
Let's
with
go.
the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Rebels lightsaber fight, right? That everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be insane fight," and Obi-Wan kills him in one
Spoiler
move,
alert for Rebels,
right?
season 3.
We already said spoilers, and so
better
that
watch out.
And once we say spoiler,
Anything goes.
we can
Anything
spoil-
goes.
We can spoil
Anything
any
goes.
movie, any
Andrew
TV
Garfield.
show.
But that it's a,
was dead
it's
the
a
whole
similar
time.
thing. A lot of people didn't like that. I love that, but a lot of people just like because they built it up in their head so
Yeah.
much that you're gonna inevitably get those people that are like they should have shown more. But like I said, I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty accurate to like what we've seen in like concept art books,
Parks and
even
Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yeah, it was funny. They like lined it up perfectly with what he's saying, and it was like, yeah, that's exactly what it does in the show. But yeah, I could see it being a little bit fast, but at the same time, you know, let's see what the new stuff is out there because we already knew he got out of it
Yeah.
because he was in Mando season 2. But it was cool. It was cool to see him actually doing cool stuff. I'll be honest, I was never like a Boba Fett fan before Mando 2 and the show because I don't know.
I mean,
he
he doesn't do
just
much.
seemed like a cool guy, but he didn't really do
He
much.
dies. He gets knocked out in a pretty lame way. And
Dies in a pansy way.
Yeah,
or
and
gets
to-
knocked in a pansy way.
Yeah, and to be fair, they've just been slowly building him up backwards. You know what I mean? Like they've been building all of his backstory, like all the new stuff that came out, basically. And so, yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's interesting to see how much time they've spent on all of it. On okay, he gets out. This is the hardships that he goes through, and so it's like okay, like they're foreshadowing stuff.
Yeah.
With the Sand People. What do they call them?
Yeah.
Same people.
Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders.
Sand
So,
people is
like,
is a derogatory term.
Obviously,
wrong
sand people bad. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry out there, you guys out there.
You're gonna get canceled.
But obviously, that's going to be. I mean, that's obviously foreshadowing. They're going to come into play here. Obviously,
Yeah.
Right, because he seems like top dog Tusken Raider in Mando season 2.
Yeah,
'Cause he's
that's
got
true.
like that staff
Yeah.
and everything.
I liked the different like side of the Tusken Raiders. Like they were even dressed differently.
Yeah.
It seems like they've got like different cultural norms almost kind of thing. So I really like that kind of like expanding of the generic.
Yeah, like almost
Sand
different
people.
factions.
Well,
Yeah.
they've kind of said even in Mando, they made a reference that I can't remember if it was Favreau or Filoni. They mentioned that the Sand People are kind of like
not
Native Americans.
Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders are Native Americans. There's different tribes, and they've kind of like their lands have been taken away by humans or whoever came in. So it kind of goes along with that. Like they have different traditions. There's different factions. These aren't the same ones that
Mando sees or Luke sees,
right, or killed Anakin's mama. So like there's different ones, and so that's like you said, it's cool that they're kind of building that lore more. And I did like you could tell they were dressed differently. They kind of had a hierarchy or stuff, and that was cool. The other thing I'll say is, man, those Jawas are the worst.
Dude, Jawas are the a-holes of the Star Wars galaxy.
They are. Like they just take the guy's armor and just like, oh, he's still alive. Oh, let me.
I like how they smack him in the face and then they laugh. They're like, ah.
Those guys, dude.
Hey man, they're the kind of guy that'll just kick you while you're down, and take your wallet,
And that's why.
And we knew that was going to happen though.
Right.
That's the interesting thing is that we knew all these things were going to happen. but it's just cool seeing him, tell out the story, and we get to see it.
Well, in the
ourselves.
first season of Mando, like people,
Yeah.
I remember seeing people being like upset that he was like throwing
Kicking
Jawas
the Jawas off.
and then I was like, these guys deserve it.
it,
They're
yeah.
a bunch of
Literally
jerks.
disintegrating them with his rifle.
No, the worst.
I know. Then they ate that egg. Jerks.
Oh yeah,
Those
what's it called?
guys.
they were pumped.
They are the worst cretins.
What did you guys think about like the flashback like mechanism? Do you think it's gonna be the same every week where he's like,
Every
gotta
time
get
he's in the
give me back to the back to tank, and it's time for a little flashback?
Little session.
I don't know if they'll do it every episode. I actually like. It'd be cool to see more of Camino.
Yeah,
There honestly
was
wasn't a lot, but it
Yeah.
looked like the scene from episode 2 when he's in the Slave One or whatever it's called now.
Slave
One.
When Obi-Wan is trying to track them down. So it'd be cool to see more stuff, like calling back to that. They showed stuff on Geonosis.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite when it opened and it showed Camino and then it showed Boba with Jango's helmet. That to me was like,
His head was in there.
this is gonna be awesome.
So it wasn't. you know what they did?
What?
So if you slow down that scene where he gets beheaded, you actually see the shadow of his helmet and then another thing separate.
Oh, really?
And it looks like a
well, there you
board.
go. Then it was just as
So it's like the CG team's like, yo, we're showing that it's
pull 'em
removed.
out, yeah.
Because I had the big issue too. I was like, yo, the kid's holding his own dad's head. But in this one, they actually like put a reflection of himself in it.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
Yeah, so some of it, I think they used some stock footage, but some of those shots were
Redone.
recreated,
Yeah.
which
I
is
wonder
cool.
how much was like just extra footage.
Yeah. Well, I know that they said that, I can't remember what his name is. Logan, not Paul. I can't remember what the actor's name is,
kid?
but they have him credited in the credits.
Yeah.
And he was saying, oh yeah, they used on Twitter, he was saying that they
some old
used some
stuff.
footage. And then there's also a new actor that I think they did the reflection with or had him stand there or whatever. So they're doing new stuff with
Tom Wiz here.
exactly.
That's cool. Yeah. So during the whole like part of him kind of just trying to survive and get that respect, he went up against this monster, looked like a Machamp, in my opinion. Some people have said he looks like Gordo.
Just like an old fashioned monster.
Yeah.
Like stop motion.
So what'd you guys think about that guy?
I mean, the design itself, to me, who knows what it means, but to me, it just didn't really feel like a Star Wars monster.
Because what part about it?
Just the design.
He just looked too...
the face to me looked like something out of Star Trek.
Did he look too human?
No. No, what
I
humans are
think
you interacting with?
No, like the anatomy of his face, like the way it was laid out, and like
To
his
me, it
arms were
reminded
very
me of
human-like
like the what is it? The goon, the lake creature.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is that guy's the stop motion guy? Harryhausen, is that his name?
Yeah,
Sounds
Like
right.
did like
Harryhausen.
yeah. I almost think it was kind of like that was purposely done like an homage almost.
right. Because even the
Yeah.
animation looked a little.
Yeah,
stilted.
I think they were trying to.
They did it the same way with the dog as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's made to look like more
was-
like stop motion.
It was low
Yeah.
frames, and it was.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Along with your,
I'm not a huge fan. Let's move
it
past
was
it.
fine.
It's cool.
We
to
spent
kinda
more
do
time on that
I
than the
did-
Sarlacc pit.
I do think I think
That was cool,
I think it
though.
was the arms. The arms made it to me like what you're saying. It didn't feel like a Star Wars beast,
Yeah.
and that's a weird thing to say because like there's so many different creatures. But it's kind of similar with
Dude, I'm
the
telling you,
the
it's because
Rancors.
it's humanoid.
Well, no, because even the Rancors in Force Awakens didn't feel like
Or the
a
Wampa,
Star Wars.
You mean not Rancors?
Not Rancors. What am I thinking?
I don't
You're
know.
talking about
The Force Awakens. What are those things
yeah.
called?
The Rathtars.
The
Yeah,
Rathtars.
the giant
Rancors.
meatballs.
The Rathtars didn't feel
Yeah.
like they felt like spaghetti balls, like just rolling. They didn't feel like a Star Wars.
That actually felt
Animal?
That felt more D&D than Star Wars.
And so
honestly.
this one kind of felt. I had the same reaction to this one. I was like, is this Mortal Kombat? You
Yeah.
know,
Gordo,
with
dude.
the, I don't know. It's not something that I'm like, this is so stupid, but it
Yeah.
was something I was like, eh.
I thought he looked goofy when he was 4 arms up and just on 2 arms or whatever. But when he used his second set of arms as
like did kind of a gorilla.
yeah, like he was like a centaur. Like he looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's when I got on board with the design. But I could see how you're like, it looks kind of like you said, make Star Trek-y or whatever. And I mean, he was there for like 30 seconds. So
yeah.
And then going back to what you said with, because I didn't get a chance to answer, with his.
I didn't ask any questions.
Why are you so rude?
You asked about like the flashbacks, like
It's a
if every
natural
time he's in the
conversation.
if every time he's in the back to tank, he's going to do a flashback. I think flashbacks are going to be part of the series. I don't think it's going to be every time he's in the back to tank, but I'm all for them going back even to his early years of becoming a bounty hunter. Like if he meets up with Bosk or other bounty hunters, having a flashback to that. I hope they have a flashback to him being on his first interaction with Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back, where he has all the. That would be really cool if they show it from his perspective. You know, where he's getting that would be kind of something that I think would make a lot of people be excited about it if they recreate that, which I think would be pretty cool. So I'm all for the flashbacks. I know a lot of people have said it's not Star Wars to have flashbacks, but you got to put new stuff in. Like break the mold. Make something that's feels different, but you can still make it feel like Star
Just
Wars.
Don't break the mold with a weird looking creature. There are limits. Yeah, I agree. It's like, I don't care. Flashbacks, whatever. I mean, the whole series is a flashback, right? Starts in the middle, flashes back. Come on.
I mean, it seems like they're going this angle of like PTSD, kind of like I've been through it, and like these are going to be flashbacks because of the PTSD. So, no, I think it's gonna keep happening at least for a little bit. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think it's a cool new little thing that they can add to the repertoire of Star Wars. And I think that there's a lot of situations where we think about how could we make this cooler, or how could we introduce old characters and like flashbacks. Like it's a magical, it's a magical tool that can make all dreams possible.
That is true.
Without having to try time travel and do like cheap stuff like that.
Yeah, I think like the mechanic of him getting it every time he's in the back to tank would get kind of repetitive after a while.
I don't think they'll do that. I was kind of joking because I feel like he said he said the dreams have started again. So I'm guessing it's just going to be kind of one of those recurrent things. It doesn't have to be like every time he's like. I just thought it'd be funny if every episode he gets like beat up and he's like, "Take me to the back to tank. I gotta have a flashback."
He goes, "The dreams have started again." He looks at the camera and goes.
But so present time. Where they're at, he's basically taken over Jabba's, Bib Fortuna's, I guess, position as the big crime guy.
What did
the Hut?
What do you guys think about what's happening present time?
I like the way it's set up and everything. I thought it took me a while to get used to. Like when I first saw the episode, it took me a while to get used to the mayor domo and how like awkward he was. And I was like, I don't know if I like this, but on second watch, I actually did enjoy it. Cause it's like, I think they were kind of trying to maybe not playing it for laughs too much, but he does have kind of that like, that kind of cadence and how he's saying things like, oh, I think he's like kind of like sidestepping a little bit, but I liked kind of what the idea that it introduces, that it's like, yeah, you're the crime lord here, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like the mayor, you got to pay tribute to the mayor. And I like that where he's like, what? But I'm the crime lord here. Like, I thought it was an interesting way to like present the issue, like the predicament he's in, where it's like, I've seen, this is new for him too. And if we go back to like the idea of like the title of the episode, Stranger in a Strange Land, he's in the same position as he is with the Tusken Raiders as he is present time. He's technically a stranger, and the dynamics are different than what he's used to.
Right.
So he kind of has to navigate that. And I also like where he's like, "Did you get any of that?" And he's like, "Man, we need to get a protocol droid because I don't understand what the heck that guy was talking about."
Is it the same droid from
he's
Jedi?
He's the torture droid.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's what Corey was saying.
Both those were on there on the same ship.
Cool.
There's the 3 things I didn't like from the episode. We already said the animal thing. that guy was a second one. He felt a little out of place to me. Just his acting. I don't know. I was telling Corey before that I feel if he wasn't speaking English, like if he was speaking in Huttese or whatever, it would have fit better. Of course, then you can't have the humor because they had him doing jokes and like that wouldn't have landed well with him speaking in an alien language. But he's very similar to in Mandalorian. There's that character that is in the shipyard. The line is like, what are you doing, Mando? You know that she's on Tatooine also. Yeah. She feels out of place to me by the way how she delivers her lines. It's not a big deal. And this is the same thing with this. He felt a little out of place, and I feel like we're going to see him more. He's going to be a recurring character. So I'm just kind of like kills him. On the fence about him just because he didn't feel Star Wars-y to me.
So I'll say that I think that they intentionally wrote him to be kind of annoying and kind of a bit of a prick to make us want to hate him. This is not correlated together, but I think he kind of looks and acts a little bit and has the same cadence as Key from Key and Peele. He actually does. If you guys go back to it and kind of see his build and the way he talks, he does. He has a lifted kind of ending to his sentences. Yeah, and he has a sarcasm.
Hey, Era.
Boba, stay nice. Don't you start with me. Yeah, no, I think they did good on that. I do agree with you. It fell a little bit out of place, but not so much to where I was like, get this Joker out of here. It was more like, oh, they're trying to make this guy something new and different and make him kind of just be annoying and just be like, oh, this guy's going to be a problem. But I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite part.
I guess I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I guess I'll just ask, like, what are you comparing it to that makes it feel like out of place?
I guess if I go into Return of the Jedi, when they're in front of Jabba,
the throne room,
like
throne room
Luke's talking and they're translating, or when someone's talking, there's always it's like the Huttese is going there, and so even the other characters come in and they're speaking, you know, in a different language or sign language and that kind of stuff, and then he comes in and he feels to me just too human, and I know he's a Twi'lek, so they've always been seen, like we've seen Hera and other characters, but Bib Fortuna always spoke in that. He goes, Jabba. You know,
that's because it was Jabba's palace.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like the character felt to me like too human of a character. Like even in his inflection and the things he was saying,
I think
it just felt.
You would have liked him to be casted different, like a different.
No,
character.
That's a good point. I kind of had that same feeling with I don't remember the character's name, the blue fish guy in Mando.
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of Horatio Sands.
I was thinking of the xylophone guy.
Yeah. It's the same thing in Solo. Madame Proxima.
Yeah.
She comes out and she's like the old lady, like, so what are you doing? Right? And I was like, give her an alien voice and have Solo interacting, because once you do that English, it just kind of takes away. So like I said, it's not a big deal. It's not something I was like, this is trash. But it was just like, when I was watching it struck me like, would it have been better if he was speaking in Huttese? Yeah. But again, not a big deal.
Yeah, I bet they probably weighed that. I bet they weighed that option, because I think that is pretty paramount to a throne room scene, you know, with Hutts and stuff like that. Having that translation and having that, you know, kind of from the messenger, but they didn't have it. So it's like,
and I think that's why they say that line to be like, hey, we don't have a.
Well, they already burned it on their joke of like, oh, we didn't understand the first guy, so they're not going to have the next guy come in and speak another language, and they're like, true. Hey, did you get what he said also?
So could he have spoken a language that he understood maybe and we didn't understand maybe? But
because I feel like Mando understands other languages. Like he's a bounty hunter. He's been around the whole galaxy.
Mando or Boba?
I mean Boba.
Okay, yeah. Maybe, but yeah. I just think, I think we're kind of just picking at stuff. But I think honestly the bigger issue was probably the monster for me. I didn't like how that was. I think it was all around pretty decent.
The music is great. Like I really like the music.
Ludwig Göransson.
Well, he did the theme. He did the theme. Which is awesome. Like how it starts with the violins,
like 1,000 times,
and then it kind of goes with the
just on repeat, like back to back,
and the You know, all the chanting and stuff. This is really good. But even just I don't know who does the soundtrack because there's a different person that's doing like the music, but it sounds good. Like it feels really good.
It feels in like the same realm as the Mando stuff.
Well, yeah, he was. I'm blanking on his name. It's like maybe Joseph Shirley or something like that. He basically is like Ludwig's second-hand man or whatever. Second in command.
Second-hand man.
Handyman.
Second-hand.
But he worked on the Mando
Yeah.
soundtrack, so he's. I don't think Ludwig can do it because he's doing a bunch of other stuff. So he's, so that's why you get the like connecting thread. It's not like they're bringing in Danny Elfman to do the Boba Fett soundtrack. It's like in the same vein.
Yeah, that's good.
Well,
Makes it feel just more connected.
Yeah, and the thing that's crazy is I would have never, like John Williams' music is so like Star Wars that I would have never thought back in the day that this kind of music would feel like Star Wars. But he's done such a good job with Mando that it feels, even though it's completely different to what John Williams does, it feels like gritty Star Wars. And I'm really excited that they've been able to do that because it kind of gives you a fresh take on what Star Wars music can be. It's weird because it's completely different, but at the same time, it feels like Star Wars. And I think that's because he's really invested in making this music feel like the characters.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of hats off to him for doing that because I love the music that he does.
Yeah, I actually didn't like the song where it has the male choir going. Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Initially, because I was like, it doesn't feel Star Wars. Actually, I thought that initially. I was like, I think there's only like 2 other songs in the history of Star Wars like movies that use like male voices. Like a choir, and so it's like. They're used for like very special occasions. But like, as I kind of was listening to it more and more, I was getting more okay with it, but it still doesn't feel completely Star Wars to me. It feels Mandalorian to me, but it's a little bit of disconnect for me, just personally, but it's still cool. Yeah. It's still awesome.
I'm about to beat you up. We're going to put the Boba Fett theme on and we're going to beat you.
to the beat. To the beat. Yeah. That sounds about right.
So the episode,
turn off the lights.
They both get giant buckets filled with coins and stuff.
And that was on purpose.
Yeah.
When I thought about it, I was like, she knew that they were going to be attacked. And so she fills their helmets with stuff so that they can't use their helmets.
Yeah. I was like, that's kind of mean. Like, they can't use their helmets anymore.
Definitely in their scene. Like, you could tell in that whole, like, her interaction with him. And she's like, yeah, this is all yours. But you can tell it's like, yeah, no, that's not what's going on here. Yeah. I did like the line about watering down the Gamorreans because I got to say, the Gamorreans are pretty dope and representation matters. And I'm glad I get to see someone that looks like me on screen. You know what I mean?
You and me both.
The tusks,
Yeah,
right?
it's the
that belly, dude,
midsection, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like a missed opportunity this episode to not paint ourselves green and be shirtless.
I think I'm going to do that for Halloween next
We should
year.
have done that.
I'm going to paint myself green, shave my whole body,
We all would have looked great.
and go as a Gamorrean guard.
dude.
Yeah, shoot, man.
In the dead of winter. I'm loving it. You keep me to it.
No, it's cool. I think the shows, obviously we came into this thinking that it was going to be kind of that gangster movie feel, and it does give me those vibes of gangster and like loyalty and respect earned, versus like threatening people by power. And so I thought it was cool. I think it's what I kind of expected. They're obviously introducing the baddies, or maybe later down the road allies. The Twi'lek girl, lady. She might be an ally down the road once she understands what he's about. But
a love interest.
You never know, man. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought the shields and like the weapons were interesting. I know we talked about it a little bit before, but first thoughts when I was seeing that fight, I was like, yo, these guys like have overpowered weapons. Like, where were these weapons? Like, why do they have these weapons?
They reminded me of like the Gungan
Yeah, the Gungan shield
things.
Yeah, so it's a combination, right? So like the shock troopers, right? Or like also who else has like the lightning? Didn't Grievous have those?
Yeah, Grievous.
Yeah.
His bodyguards.
They're taking a bunch of different things, right? But yeah, I was like, dang, these guys are like overpowered. And I actually thought that fight scene was really good when they're on the ground surrounded by them, because I was like, I wonder if this will like be very like fakey, like like let me through, and I'll like very like they don't earn their way to disarm them and stuff like that, and like how do you get past like riot shields? The fight was very believable. I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was really well put together, and it's interesting that they have like this parkour part on the roofs. How'd you guys feel about that?
I thought it was okay. Like
Have we ever had a parkour moment besides animation?
in the Attack of the Clones when they're chasing
Yeah.
In
Sam
anime,
Wessel and stuff like that. So
When?
well, I mean that's more of a car
That's
chase,
more
I
of
guess.
a car chase, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I forget the character's name.
Ray Skywalker.
No. The Boba's right hand woman.
Fennec Shand.
Yes. She in the Clone Wars does a bunch of
In animation.
stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm saying not in animation.
Yeah, live action. I can't think of a
Yeah, me
one where
either.
we've had like
So that's
parkour.
why it felt very different to me. This episode
Yeah.
felt very different because I was like, it's like they're calling back with some of the animation types. They're introducing new things, and it was just kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
You know,
I did. Yeah,
Interesting.
the actual parkour of it felt a little slow to me.
Me
Like it
too.
looked like they were like,
I feel like they shouldn't have zoomed out so much.
Yeah,
like
like
if zooming out makes it feel slow. If you
Yeah.
zoom in, then they have more
yeah.
expediency.
I think you're right. If they're like, or if it's like a behind the back shot of her chasing them, I think that probably would have done better.
GoPro.
But, yeah, exactly. GoPro
But then
camera.
at that point, it doesn't even feel Star
Yeah,
Wars.
but it was fine.
It's
That's the
tough.
question,
It's tough
yeah.
to balance new things with
Yeah,
having to please the fans,
yeah.
dude.
Bunch of
It's
whiny
tough.
babies.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all a
true.
bunch of whiny babies.
Yeah, what a bunch of babies.
I did like when she like looks at the two guys and she's like,
He's like,
I
yeah,
only need one.
alive,
He's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
kicks
the
one
other
off.
guy.
And
Oh,
she's like,
yeah. I only need one.
I really like
Yeah.
kind of how they're setting up Fennec Shand to be kind of like the I'm gonna kill everybody kind
Yeah,
of thing.
and Boba's
His
more like
master
the-
assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be pulled that way to
Yeah.
power. You have to show, power to
Yeah.
rule.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, no, I want to rule through respect, man.
Yeah,
Everyone just hang out. And
Like
just
an
be cool.
Irnan.
Just be cool with each other. An Irnan?
yeah. And then I really like their dynamic so far. I mean, one episode in, it's cool, and like the fact that
bad.
she's like, oh, you need to adapt to their customs, and then he like retorts back when with cleaning the helmet. She's like, oh, you need to resort to their customs. Like they've got a good like decent back and forth that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Overall, I think it was pretty. Like I thought, first view, I was expecting. I think my expectation was too high.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I was.
really?
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
I wasn't expecting
I was expecting like a big reveal at the end of
Yep.
like at end of Mando. We got
off the rip.
Baby Yoda,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, oh, they're gonna do something like that, and we didn't get it. But I think now, like rewatching after that first initial one, I'm like, I like the episode a lot
Yeah.
because I like what
it's
they're
set up.
setting up.
They're planting
It's
and they're
yeah,
foreshadowing.
exactly. It's a slow build. It's
Yeah.
a slow burn, and I want to see what they do with the character of Boba Fett. And it looks like they're going deep into the character,
Yeah.
like what makes him tick, and that interests me, and I'm excited for that. And then I'm
Yeah.
excited for like a couple, good reveals and stuff like that later on. But I like the ground that's been laid for the series.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Boba Fett as someone that's just not in a cool suit.
Yeah. And I like what they did with him, like with the flashbacks. It's like you completely strip him from his armor. That's the one iconic thing about Boba Fett is his Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
And they completely take it away from him, and he needs to figure out, I need to earn their respect
Right.
as who I am, Boba Fett, as opposed to like, oh, I've got cool Mandalorian armor and I can fly around and I have a rocket launcher. It was sweet when he blasted that dude.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Last thing I'll say is the only thing I'm comparing this directly to the Mandalorian.
Right.
And so I'm just like, I hope they can come up with something to look forward to or cool surprises. And I hope that comes through maybe guest features of different characters.
A baby Gungan.
I hope that's what it
Yeah,
is.
baby Jar
Baby
Jar.
Jar Jar.
Baby
Sick,
Jar Jar.
dude.
Because Mandalorian had that mystery and they had the force aspect of it that I was really like drawn to, and a lot of people were drawn to. So what will that X factor be for Boba Fett?
Well, Ahsoka's coming in, dude. Right up your alley.
I don't want her on my alley, dude. I don't want her near that area.
I agree with Josh.
But we'll see.
my expectations were really high because I was like, what is it? What's going to be the reveal? What's going to be the surprise? Because the same thing. Grogu's revealed at the end of Mando. You're like, oh my gosh, it's a Baby Yoda. And this was just, it ends with him drinking some spatchka or whatever
some
it's called.
Tatooine gourd.
But like I said, for me, it's kind of like I'm excited for what they're gonna do. They're setting down the groundwork, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be awesome. And I know there are gonna be some surprises that are coming because they've already kind of teased some stuff. So, sky's the limit, guys. And for me, the other thing I'll say just real quick is the shout out, the cameo of the Rhodian was Sam Witwer, who is Star Wars royalty.
Darth Maul,
but
voice
yeah,
actor.
Let's do real quick. Let's just rate it the episode. I'm giving this probably like an 8.1 for me. Is kind of like for the episode.
Okay.
I'd give it an 8.
7.8.
I got an 8.3.
Nice.
There you go.
Pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll be talking about.
We'll probably do every episode.
Yeah, every episode we'll be talking. Next week we're going to be doing our top 10 most anticipated list for 2022, and that is everything: games,
Movies,
games, video
TV.
games,
Games, video games.
movies, TV shows. So we'll be doing that next week. Anything else you guys want to say?
That's it.
All right. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and like. Check us out on the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Subscribe and like to all our stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll check you guys out.
We'll check you guys out later.
We're
Check us out
watching you
next
too.
So thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
See you.